All right, in today's episode of the Self-Made Podcast, we've got James Rembert, CEO, founder of Digital Natives, which is a marketing agency, and he has a movement called Zillow Killer. So we're going to let him share his journey with us and his mission and what agents could be doing and even lenders right now in these times to help grow our business. James, thanks for taking the call with us today, man. We appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Give us a little bit of background of yourself and how you got started with Digital Natives and your tribe now with the Zillow Killer.
How far do I go back?
As much as you want to share with us.
No problem. The long story short, I relocated down to South Jersey, and before locating down from South Jersey, I had an agency up in Manhattan, which was more fashion-based, which is my background. And coming down to South Jersey, I got to, decide I want to sell real estate and learn really quickly that it was a different process. So my very first year was pretty bad. And my second year picked up when I got my first coach, which was Joshua Smith. And from having my first coach, wasn't that he taught me the business, it was more of a paradigm shift. And from that paradigm shift gave me a perspective of the reason why I was failing in my business wasn't because I was bad or I didn't have the skill set. It was purely because of obscurity. Nobody knew who I was. So I started doing videos and putting myself out there. And the more videos I would do, after a while, my second year, business kind of picked up. And as business picked up, it positioned me where I was questioning where was all this business coming from. Because my second year, I went from bad first year to second year to about 10 million in sales, ended the third year with 13 million in sales. And of course, my fourth year, I went part-time and did 6 million in sales. So collectively throughout my time, I did about 30 million. But into my second year, I was about 15, 16 transactions in where, prior year was like struggling. To the second year, things started to kind of pop off a little bit. And
were you still a solo agent at that time, or were you looking at building?
No, solo agent. I had no clue. My focus was trying to survive. That was the whole goal. And it was always, I would meet people and they say, I got your information from the Moms Club. I thought that was a joke. I didn't understand it. And I questioned, of course, you do 15, 16 transactions, everybody that says the same thing, it made no sense. So lo and behold, I found out from that particular person that was a real thing. It was a Facebook group of moms, Cherry Hill East and Cherry Hill West, of over 30,000 women circulate my videos throughout the group.
Wow.
So quickly I picked up that I wasn't chasing clients no more. I began to attract my ideal client. Just by putting myself out there.
Was that your initial intent when you were putting those videos out, to try to penetrate that group or that market, or was that just by chance it happened?
That was a byproduct. The funny part is I did the videos to help me understand. One, it fed me the creative side of me. You know what I mean? Like real estate, there isn't a lot of, creative aspects where, I study, design, visual communications and fine arts. There is nothing that really, there is no congruency between fine arts and real estate. It's just a different world. So I would do videos based off of the market, community. I would see, fine arts focused on clean lines, tree lines, aesthetically things that I thought were pleasing. But I only talked about Cherry Hill. That was the cool part. And it was my way of memorizing, the market, the area. I would see cool things about it. And I just started to give my perspective on it. And lo and behold, it started to pick up and people liked what I was talking about. And I understood that would be a dominant channel for me to grow my business. As I started to do it, like I said, I didn't realize that until after. I was more focused on putting myself out there and knowing I need people to know who I am. And I need to be able to, one, remember just some cool aspects about the community.
Yeah. And is that kind of where your, hyper local kind of mantra came from to try to get agents to understand that?
Oh, absolutely. And that happened almost like from the agency was the byproduct of me putting myself out there where people was questioning what was I doing? After a while you start going to enough closings, the question is like, dude, what are you doing? And after, it just begins to build up that type of reputation. I mean, the industry, it's just how it is. It's a Me Too industry. But the hyperlocal concept, that played a very big part. And a lot of people have this misconception that they really think, well, if I get enough leads, my business will pop off. And leads have multiple ways. That's such a broad scope, which I don't think people pay any attention to. You can have, that's why we're so consumed with the referral-based business, which I always tell people that's not a strategy, but those are leads. The difference between those leads, they're warmer and they have some awareness or some trust based off who referred them to it, So with the whole concept is getting people out of their comfort of first. If I give you leads, that's not going to help your business, because if you can't convert cold leads, it serves no purpose. But if I can position you where you're able to put yourself out there, your voice is loud enough that your industry begins to trust you, that's a game changer. That's the kind of business you want. That's the kind of lead you want. And it's not about leads. It's purely obscurity. Nobody knows who you are. Get the industry to know who you are, and business becomes a byproduct after that.
Do you think too many agents, or even lenders for that matter, they look at it more like the short term, like, hey, if I put this video out, I don't get a lead from it, or I tried for a week, and a lot of people say, oh, this shit doesn't work, versus constantly putting out content every day, thinking that, hey, a year from now, 2 years from now, what will that then pay me off, at that point?
You hit it on the nose. I mean, we have to take into account our industry is flawed, mainly because it takes you 2 weeks to become a professional, right? So you already got the misconception that you really know what you're doing in 2 weeks. And then when you talk about things that are long ball that helps you build out some, and I try not to use brand. I try not to use that terminology, because people hear that and they're like, oh, well, branding, I'm already doing branding, and it's the icons, and that has nothing to do with branding. Branding is the emotion. It's what people say about you when you're not around. The misconception that people have, and they think when we talk about the internet, we view the internet in a really twisted way. We view the internet almost like a destination. And it's not. The internet is a presence. We're always online. So when we talk about the presence of the internet and we talk about video is the highest consumed content on the planet. The fastest way to distribute that and to get people to understand who you are is through video. It's hard to mess that up. It's hard to confuse who you are when you're putting yourself out there. It's easy you put the content out there, two things happen. Either people are going to see that you don't know what you're talking about, or they're going to really see that you're really trying to service and help the industry.
I think you got to drive that point home again. You said video is the most consumed content, right?
On the planet.
And we try to do a version, here in Vegas, and we call it the digital boot camp. So I kind of get agents to really understand, kind of what we've done for ourselves and our team over the last year in terms of video and content. But I still hear some people that are like, I don't want to be on video, or, they're just afraid to do it. And they all have a story, right, as to why they don't want to do it. But it's like, you guys got to get over that hump, man.
The fear, the crazy part about the fear that they have, Sean, they don't like the way they sound, and they don't like the way they look.
Yep.
Both of that, it ain't shit you can do about
it. Yeah.
It's nothing you can do about it. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And if you really think about it in that type of that scarcity level, the client is going to see you eventually. Those same flaws that you have a fearful side of in front of this camera, it's visible right there. The problem is people that don't have a clear, concise of who they are, still live in this camouflage and still trying to be this mirage. Those are the ones that are fearful about video. Those of us that are comfortable in our skin, those of us that are unapologetically ourselves, understand if I be myself, the world will adjust. And I'm not worried about what people think about me. I'm more concerned of how I can be of service to you. Like, what can I do to help you? Those are the ones, those that have that BS approach, those are the ones that are scared of video. And it's okay. More business for me. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember the first time I came across some of your content, man. I loved what you had to share. I think it was on Inman. Talk about the Zillow killer and where did that come from, and kind of, what you guys are looking to change, how you're changing the industry.
Well, I mean, my whole goal is I'm always leaning to legacy. And that's a big nail we try and drive home. But when it comes to Zillow, when we talk about the whole Zillow killer concept, it's never a dislike for these syndicated sites. It's not like I hate Zillow. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is. It exists. So for me to hate something that exists, well, that's just a poor way to view things. The whole concept is to help the industry understand that we have power. We have the ability on multiple sides. One, we're the only industry on all scales that have to cooperate with our competitors. We don't have to compete with each other. We have to work together to collectively get the deal done. The problem is we're looking at these syndicated sites as problems, and they're not really problems. The problem is we haven't accepted that there are other ways to get in front of the end consumer based off of what the internet is offered. There's no more gatekeepers here, you know? And when we talk about, you know, these syndicated sites, we view it as, oh, they're taking our clients. They're not taking our clients. They're tapping into the attention. But we, as agents, have multiple things we can do. First of all, if we take a economic behavior shift in the other direction and learn what the internet can do, that can help us take back the power first. Second thing, when we really respect the fact of, you can call it social media, you can call it whatever you want. Facebook is the internet, period. You can't deny Facebook is the internet. When we want to learn information, YouTube is our searching channels. When we want to get just entertained, Instagram and TikTok is great places to go. You have to view these channels as distribution. And the amazing part about the distribution, Sean, it is free. Absolutely free.
Totally agree. So would you say like those platforms right there, like at a bare minimum, agents, lenders should be on Instagram, Facebook, at a bare minimum, trying to get content out?
The easiest platform right now is Facebook. People have this thing where my client isn't on Facebook. I don't argue with that. If that was the case, then I wouldn't have a business. We service well over 200 plus real estate teams and brokerages worldwide. Your client is always on Facebook. Some of our clients are selling $200,000-$300,000 houses. I got a couple clients that are selling $40-60 million units. Same process, same rule applied. I mean, we're getting firsthand of how powerful Facebook is in reference to distribution, because this is where we're getting all of our information from. At the least, you should have a Facebook business page. And if you decide to maneuver into Instagram, that could be the second side. But then when you move into YouTube, YouTube is more of a search channel. Now, all three of those combined is the perfect trifecta in reference to distributing your information. But, you know, that can be overwhelming. The easiest way to start is go where the attention is and something that you're more comfortable with. And like I said, Facebook is the easiest channel, one, to get yourself out there, to gain some authority, especially right now. I mean, everybody is paying attention. We have a private brand rep at our company. I mean, right now, based off what our ad spend is on a day-to-day at my company, we spend about $30,000 a day collectively through clients. So we have what's considered to be a brand rep. And, you know, we meet with them, you know, probably 2-3 times a week. And the last week we had a conversation. They were talking about the behavior and the attention has skyrocketed on Facebook, where, you know, if you talk about, for you guys that know about cost per results and CPCs and CPRs, cost per results and cost per clicks and things of that nature in reference to people that are investing in the platform and the ad manager side, it's super cheap because the attention is there, and I don't have to get in front of that. I don't have to go through a whole slew of people to get them to react to something. Everyone is here trying to figure out what's happening. Everyone is looking for new perspectives. Everyone's looking for information. And the behavior on Facebook right now is absolutely insane in reference to people paying attention. Perfect time to put yourself as a leader in your community.
Would you say, especially with this whole, you know, shutdown and everyone pretty much working remotely, should you be doubling down on social media?
That you need to double on your spend. If you're spending money, you should be doubling it. You guys that are producing content, if you're doing two videos a week, you should be doing at least 3 to 5 videos a week. This right here is the ideal time for the changing of the guards. For those that had their little strategies where they were doing 1 and 3 videos a week, going for you guys that have never done videos, have never put yourself out there, and you can create some relevant content, you're willing to be hyper local, and you're willing to tap into intimacy, game changer for your business when all the smoke clears, because the attention now you build up trust from people that might have never taken the time to listen to you because I was working. I was 9 to 5. I didn't have time to see it, but now I got time to see it.
Yeah. And guys that are spending money on Facebook, what would you say would maybe be a sweet spot if they're running an ad campaign?
We always suggest $300 to $500 a month. That's just the norm. I can predictably tell you, and it's not just the ad. The ad is just the distribution side. But for those that understand how to build out an entire campaign, running a Facebook ad it is what it is. It gets your message out. It amplifies what you're trying to put out there, but it goes into the spending side of it. So when we talk about just the ad, $300 to $500 per campaign. But when I say campaign, I'm talking about the components that go along with it. But yeah, the spend is in the ad, but $300 to $500 can go a long, long way.
What do you have to say about, like, because I follow a lot of agents, and a lot of them, I think if they think they know what they're doing on Facebook, I think they're missing the point a lot of times, because they come out with the just listed, the just sold, or, hey, I've just put this in escrow post, and I start seeing their feeds, right? And it's just like this constant reminder of, it's almost like, hey,
it's stupid. It's stupid. I'll say it out loud. It's absolutely stupid. No one cares about the vanity metrics. Nobody cares about the new listing. The big surprise is nobody's on Facebook looking to buy or sell real estate, and they're definitely not looking for the next agent. It's all about captivating their attention. And we live by a rule of relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. If you can tap into some level of intimacy with your audience or gain some intimacy from a newer audience, then now you're moving into a place where people are willing to engage with you. So relevant, giving information that's relevant to your community. Up and coming events. Right now people are looking for stuff to do, and people are always looking for something to do. We always, try and help people. When we talk with clients, we stress the fact that, I'm a practitioner, so I know what it is to sell real estate. In truth, price rules. You don't really sell a house. Price it right, it'll sell itself. But if you can sell the lifestyle, the house just happened to be in the area. So you can give people clear, concise understanding of what the market is. What the market is, not the market in numbers, the market as lifestyle, and the lifestyle of the market. The parks. You guys know your communities. Some areas have, more rural areas may have more, dog parks. more suburban. You just never know. But for you guys that are aware of your community, giving content, giving information that's relevant to your community goes a very, very long way, because very few people are willing to do that. Everyone wants to talk about, here's my listing, here's my house, here. That information is in abundance. I can get that from anywhere. Before I'm even interested in entertaining what you have, why should I talk to you?
Yeah, it's all about building that trust, right? And I think even, we've tried to stress to, like, even our team and some of the agents we work with, that your feed or your profile is kind of like your digital resume. And, we could talk on the phone, right? It could be a Zillow lead or any lead, online lead. But if I get off the phone with you and I Google your name and you've got 3 posts in the last year, or 6 months, there's no way I'd probably want to work with you, and represent me as a buyer or seller's agent.
Most people won't respect that. Like I said, it's so dope that you said that. It plays a big part to show that you're relevant. Like you can't go to a person and tell them what you can do for them to sell or help them with in reference to buying a house or selling a house, and you're not utilizing the tools that you're selling them, that you're going to use. Like you don't do anything. So why would I believe you?
Yeah. What do you think are 3 things, maybe 2 to 3 things agents should be doing right now? Like, we're all this maybe 30-day shutdown. What are maybe some top things that you can recommend for agents doing to try to help them get through this time?
First thing, you should have a business page. It's absolutely fascinating, the people that don't have a Facebook business page. The problem is people think their personal page is enough. And when you start to promote on your personal page, that's a violation. I can tell you dozens and dozens of people have lost not their ad manager account, but have lost their accounts completely. It's been booted off Facebook, right? So the very first thing, you should have some type of business page. On your business page, you kind of want to use almost like an 80-20 rule. 80% should be some type of video content. 20%, yeah, you can do other content, but make sure it's native. Never use content to take them off of Facebook, where there's a hyperlink. But right now, the biggest thing that everyone can be doing is video, video, video. When I say, and I know everyone is hearing that, video is essential to your business. If it was very essential, right now it's crucial because there is so much attention that's here, where if you're really trying to position yourself as a leader in your market, now people are paying attention. When at one time, those that, there was a lot of people that wasn't paying attention. The entire world is looking right now, and they're looking for leaders. They're looking for people to give some type of positive insight. We know what the current reality is. I don't need to hear nothing. I don't need to hear anything about Corona. I don't know the updates of the death. I don't need that. I need to know, how do I move forward? How does life continue for me? Because surviving this situation, it's going to be an interesting transition of what the new reality is going to look like when everything is said and done. So if you are able to give some type of comfort, you're able to give some perspective that you are still actively aware of what the market is doing, people will still be buying, people will still be selling. We do not have to stop business. It has to be business as usual. So video is key. Another thing we're suggesting people to do, and this is almost like a gold mine, where it's like the gold rush, where creating groups that give some strength in reference to your community. I have one of my coaching clients. She just launched a group 2 weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks today, actually, 2 weeks today, based off an event that closed down. It was a major event that closed down in Houston. And the fascinating part about it is it was the Houston vendors, Houston rodeo vendors, and major event that a lot of people came to. And all she wanted to do was connect the consumers to the vendors and really help the vendors get back in front of those potential consumers that couldn't or that wouldn't have made it to that event. That need fell into what we call a painkiller. Most people build out ideas based off a vitamin or painkiller. That was such a painkiller that in 2 weeks, she has almost 170,000 people inside this group that is actually buying and helping these vendors. Up to last I talked about 3 days ago, collectively throughout the vendors, they've already helped these people sell over $1 million worth of product inside the group.
That's crazy.
Now, the fascinating part about this, Sean, is it's 170,000 people that may have never known who Nicole was. That's pure intimacy right now. All she needs to do is whisper what she does. They'll do business with her now.
Purely just from trying to help, right?
Not
like, hey, I'm creating this Facebook group to get my name out there. It was like, connect.
How could I be of service
to the business?
Well, when we tap into, like I said, when we really take and really respect the fact that the internet is not a destination, it is a presence. We're never offline, we're always online. When we understand the digital side of where the world is, you can do things like that. And the interesting part about her helping, that became such a byproduct of multiple businesses that we're sitting discussing with her that she can do now. Even if she charged them $1 a month now, it's 170,000 people. You really think they're not going to give her $1 a month to be a part of this? She's
shown so much value just out the gate.
Game changer. There's so many ways you guys can go, and it all falls into if you can garnish the attention or gain the attention of those who are willing to listen to you, business opportunities are a byproduct. Like, there's so many other things we can do where people are willing to pay purely for value. And when we think about value, always think about, well, what can I sell you? No. People will pay you just to pay attention and watch your journey.
Do you think, what do you have to say to people that think that, maybe my life isn't that fascinating, or, a day in the life of a realtor or a lender is boring?
Well, that's the same thing as an assumption. You know what they say about assumption? Assumption is yeah. So it's an assumption. You just never know. You know what I mean? That we got multiple shows that have proved that's not the case. Yes, they may have been selling higher priced products, but the key to any type of visual communication is if you can entertain, you can always educate. You can't jump out of the gate and tell me 5 points or 10 ways to buy, or I have no reason to listen to you because there's nothing entertaining about that. If you can entertain, you can always educate. And if you got them to a place where you're educating them, you fall into two sides. What we know is they're tapping into that emotion or that agreed upon value. It's the only two reasons why people ever buy from us at any level, you know? So putting yourself out there and helping people, like I said, people will pay for the journey. People will pay to follow you. People will pay to know, how did Sean become? How did you build this? How are you? Because everyone has those questions. Like, everyone feels the same way. My life isn't important. My life isn't, you just never know, you know? Who knew me putting videos out there where when I came down to South Jersey, my mind was like, I'm going to dominate the Black community. Black people ain't bought nothing from me, Sean, my first year. Ain't bought jack. First year, nothing. But I put myself out there and over 30,000 white women loved me. Who knew? I mean, so you just never know until you put yourself out there. The assumption of how we view ourselves, you know what I mean, it's tough because, you know, we spend more time talking to ourselves and 60% of what we say is negative. I'm just telling you, if you can get to a place where you're unapologetically yourself, you get comfortable in your skin, you stop worrying about how people view you, I assure you the world will adjust. But you have to be relevant. You have to be willing to put in the time and put in the energy to make sure people know what you're talking about is relevant. You know, being of service is being aware of your market, your area. You can't just jump out the gate and be like, you know, I have a house, it's 200,000. You want to buy it? That's what we do, you know? So, you know, take some time and learn your market. The problem with people is they don't know their market. They're clueless. You're like, well, tell me something about your market. Well, not the stats. Tell me something about your market, because I need to know who you are. Like, I need to care. I don't have to do business with you. It's thousands of agents I can give my business to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Why should I work with
I
you?
always try to tell them too, you know, like someone told this to me a few weeks ago. Is like, you know, however you sell yourself is pretty much how you can be replaced.
Easy.
You know, so I tell the agents, I was like, just think of, you know, if you're going on a listing appointment and all the seller asked you was, what's your commission rate, right? And you're like, oh, I'm 6%. Well, they're going to go find the guy who's willing to do it for 5, and then
Hands
for
down.
4, and then for 3, and then the flat rate broker that will sell the house. Even I tell them, you know, on our side as a lender, like, we never sell rate. Because if you want the cheapest rate, you could go online and probably find someone who'll give you, you know, whatever the lowest rate is for the day. But strategy, you know, experience and everything else, you kind of have to pay for that to some extent.
It's like I said, it's the biggest issue I find is people don't know who they are. They have no clue. I mean, they spend years in this mirage and walk around in this camouflage suit, and I'm a realtor, and what does that shit even mean? I don't know who you are. That means nothing. I can Google and get a dozen realtors to help me. Who is Sean? Who, you feel what I'm saying? Like, there's something that attaches. Just looking behind you is those Kobe Bryant shirts.
Yeah.
Easy. You know what I mean? There's some connection. If I was into sports, now we have something to talk about.
Yep.
When people are willing to lean into that unapologetically side of themselves, where it's like, listen, this is just me. It's how I talk. I'm not trying to change. I'm not trying to be offensive. And of course, you know, you don't want to be a dickhead at the same time, but you do want to be a person of value, but you don't want you don't want people to have to figure you out. No one has time for that. And we live in a day and age. If we just talk the stats of Facebook ads, you got 3 seconds to catch their attention. You got another 3 seconds to hold it. So you got a total of 6 seconds to convert a person, to help them believe you are worth listening to. You have enough value. Here is the exchange for my information so I can hear more of what you're talking about.
Do you think, you know, what's your opinion on, sometimes I hear agents, you know, they say, well, I don't have like maybe the equipment to do the video or anything like that. Like, my opinion is, I mean, most people have an iPhone, you know, and just get raw with it and just get the content out. It doesn't always have to be perfect, right?
Nobody cares about high production. Candid-based videos right now, the excuse that people have of why they won't do it can't be equipment, because our phones is just as equivalent to most high-end equipment or anything you can buy out there. Even people, well, I need a camera guy. You can get a selfie stick. You can get a mobile smooth. It gives you the same feel. No one is interested in super high production. High production is one thing, but if I can be candid, if I can be honest, if I can give relevant information, It's more about the doing. Get it done. The content and the context of the content is way more important than the production. Now, yeah, we do want to have lighting. All right, go outside. We do want to have sound. Get some headphones and your phone. Done. That's it. That's all you need right now is to get yourself rocking and rolling, and you have the exact same access as major production studios that, you know, we live in such an amazing time right now, Sean, that at one point we didn't have the ability or the access that we have right now where we can talk to our ideal client for free, where if I wanted to get in front of a person and create some type of commercial, I needed hundreds of thousands of dollars to get in front of these people. Them days are over now. You can create your own commercial right here. You can create, and the commercial is just your information, whatever offer it is. It doesn't have to, I'm not talking about production and, you know, something flying around. I'm talking about giving relevant information, giving something of value that people would find interesting enough to exchange. That's it.
Do you think it's necessary to always have like a call to action in like an ad campaign or something? Because I see a lot of times people are always like, you know, hey, call me, you know, if you're thinking of buying or selling, or, you know, they always have something, even in like their email signatures, you know.
That's a lose-lose. I mean, you can, I think a lot of people do that because it's normal. Like people see that as like a common thing, or people get tripped up. Very few people can tell me, and we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on the platform. Screaming out your CTA doesn't do it for you. There has to be some type of ethical bribe. There has to be something of value that here, this is what I'm giving you to help you. And if you're interested, the exchange would be your name, number, and email. You know what I mean? So just scream and call me. Those are always lose-lose strategies, but you got people that'll argue that. Very few people are tracking that. And my rule is if you can't track it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And speaking of tracking, do you think, I mean, I know for myself, once I started really tracking where leads were coming from, how our ads were doing, my business pretty much doubled at that point. Do you think that's something that a lot of people lack in doing?
Oh, I mean, we're talking about it in industry that in 2 weeks we become professionals. We all of a sudden have a business. We're entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting area where, you know, real business know, and we understand, real business owners and real entrepreneurs understand that if you don't track and measure, you can't improve. Just being loosey-goosey with it that's a hobby. If you're running a business, you have to be able to track, you have to be able to measure, because you have to know where to spend and where to put more to. I need to be able to pull and push. So those that don't want to track, they don't want to be held accountable, and it's okay. You just can't do business with me.
Yeah. What about like, kind of going back to tracking too, right? I think sometimes even when I've asked agents in meetings, you know, hey, where does your business come from? And a lot of them will just automatically defer to what I think, you know, they all say my sphere. But I think they say that because they don't really have an idea, and that's the quickest answer that they can come up with.
No, they don't know. I tell people quick, referral-based business is not a strategy. It's like hope. You know, that's not a thing. And yes, you've managed to survive and sustain yourself. Very few people have been able to scale or grow out of their business. You know, it's always funny, and some people get insulted. You know, they're like, oh, well, and when I say this to them, it's not impressive to hear a person have been selling real estate 15, 20, 30 years. This shit is crazy to me. In 4 years, I was able to fire myself, build up my team, and walk away and do other stuff. You know, if you're still a technician in your business, which business has to be broken up into 3 factions: technician, management, and systems. If you're the technician in your business, anytime you're down, business stops. It's not a business. I mean, like I said, you can probably survive a little bit, but if you're not moving yourself out of the way in reference to building out management, so you have some processes to put in place. So when you begin to replace yourself, now you have a system. Real businesses run and make money if I'm there or not. That's a real business. And unfortunately, our leaders don't tell us that. We are always pushed to be the technician. So it's just easy for a person to scream, oh, where's your business coming from? It's more referral based. It's referrals and, you know, friends and family. That's not a strategy. So you have no way of knowing, or no channels of bringing in new business every day for your business. You have nothing. It's just Maybe something come, maybe something don't. That's not business. That's not how things are done. And unfortunately, our leaders have given us this false narrative as if that's normal. That's why everyone believes fourth quarter is a bad quarter.
I've always had, I think, record months every single year, either in November, December, or January. I
It's
mean,
serious.
for me, it's just, I take that time if everyone wants to, go on vacations, and I get the whole family balance and all that. You have to have that. But for me, it's just, hey, we can finish out the year strong. We start the year off strong.
We doubled down quarter Q4 and Q1. All my clients doubled down in ad spend in that area. Spend more. But again, that's the narrative that we've been taught and we've been embedded. And those are the things that, as in this whole Zillow killer movement, is just trying to help people be aware that feast or famine, that mindset, shit is not normal for our industry. We sell the highest priced product on the planet. How is it that in November you're broke? I can't make any sense how, so many agents have more months than money. Like it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. And you still, you're still part of a brokerage, right? Or a team in Philly?
Mm-hmm. Out here in South Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And how big is your team that you have?
My team is 15 strong.
And are you involved much in the day-to-day, or is it
Total
just
hands off,
kind of high level, just helping out when need be?
Total hands. I have a rule, Sean. If I hire you and I put you in charge of something and you got to keep calling me, I don't need you. So they don't bother me. That's with everybody.
Yeah. And now, so you have a course, right, that you've put out to kind of help agents and anyone kind of in the real estate industry at this time, right, to kind of help them get going.
Mm-hmm. We do boot camps quarterly. Technically, we do them for my private coaching clients. It's about close to 600 private coaching clients, and I'm very particular. Same way I am with my business, because I give my time. So what we offer is quarterly or bi-monthly. We do like these live boot camps where you spend 5 nights with me personally on a Zoom where it's 50 other agents, and every day I take you through a new piece of building out an entire campaign. So you guys get to see how an ad strategist actually work. You see what a practitioner is really doing. We make executive decisions right there live. It's not a bunch of slides. Like, we're actually working. And I mean, those that have even engaged in the boot camp, you can see the testimonials and the reviews. We've helped thousands of people understand the platform on a higher level by simplifying it and not complicating it. Because like I said, those that complicate it don't know what they're doing or don't know. It's a rule. If you can simplify it, you have some clarity. And we're in this platform every day. So arming our industry of what exists, the possibilities of what you can do when you understand what these platforms can do, or what we do inside the boot camp. So it's from Monday through Friday. It's from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Because of this pandemic situation, we used to charge $297, but we reduced it down to $97 just so we can help out. And all of that money that comes from the boot camp, I donate that to different children's charities. So I don't even keep the money that comes in from there. But that's my way of giving back to an industry that helped me build my businesses. And real estate was the keystone for me being able to build out and buy multiple businesses right now. So.
You guys also have a private Facebook group as well, right?
Oh yeah, the Zillow Killer Group. We do a lot of information there. We just connected with a few other guys that's going to be helping out with. That's really thorough with YouTube. So really, cornering the market in reference to paid traffic from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and a few other channels we're going to start bringing in. But the more we know, the better we can improve. And it's not about hiding this information. The more our industry is aware of what's possible, the better we can take back our market.
That's a lot of content you guys give out, man. It's I know me, I've been following you for a little bit. So, I definitely love everything you guys put out. And I think for a lot of people that are listening, and you want to learn more about Facebook, I mean, the resources are there. You just got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Try to move people in the speed of implementation, pushing people out of that comfort zone of I'm not interested in just entertaining you. Entertaining you is just to get the attention. But if I can move you at a speed of implementation, the only way you can learn how these platforms or the power of these platforms is to do it. We can talk strategy, we can talk concepts, we can talk techniques. It's all about the implementation. And that's why we did the boot camp so people can see this is what you need to do here. And you sit and you watch and you see even inside the group, you do different trainings. And, this up April, we have multiple people coming in, really, to help everyone sharpen their axe because, no one could have prepared for this. But at the same time, we don't have to sit by and just go dormant because of the situation or because of the current situation. We still have to be sharpening our axe. It still has to be business as usual because life goes on. Life doesn't stop, just because of the social distancing, it's not, it's a pandemic, but we understand what the internet is. We understand what the internet can do, and we can still continually feed and sustain ourselves and take care of our families.
Yeah, I think the whole social distancing just kind of forced everyone to kind of adapt digitally if they weren't already doing that. I know for us at Loan Depot, like we're big into the digital and the tech side with all of our clients, and we've kind of been doing this for a while, but I think it's poked a lot of holes in a lot of people's businesses.
Oh, yeah.
If they didn't think that they needed social media, or was maybe half-assing it, I think now is like, hey, I really need to figure this out and try to get on the train.
Force people to be relevant. It's 2020. How do you even say, well, I don't, you hear me talking about meetings, I'm just learning how to do Zoom. You mean to tell me you was driving 30, 40, 50 minutes to a meeting? Are you serious? Like we're in 2020. So it's forcing people to be relevant. It's forcing people to recognize the power of these distribution channels. It's forcing people to acknowledge that the connection that Instagram and Facebook and entertainment that you get from YouTube and, we've always it's been practical. It's just, it was practice on the sense of, oh, it's just something I do. Now you realize this is where the world is, and this is what the world has become. You can kick against it all you want, but we can't unring the bell. This is what it is. Digital, social media-based platforms, which we always just use, we say distribution, these distribution-based platforms is where the world is. And this has forced people to move in the world we live in of 2020.
What's your take on like Instagram stories, Facebook stories? Because there's some people out there saying that, hey, that's stories is kind of the new like shift. What's your take on that?
Well, ephemeral is definitely. Like I said, that's new internet. So old internet was more of archive and public. And ephemeral is now more private. New internet is more ephemeral and private, where stories have always been a powerful tool, just like when, what about 2016, 2015, 2016, when we was introduced to new tech like Snapchat. Everyone laughed at Snapchat because it was funny. But what people didn't realize was the internet was making an evolution in a completely different shift in reference to new technology, which is ephemeral. Ephemeral is super, super powerful because it falls in line to how we consume content. Where everyone is go, 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 where the attention time is 6 seconds at max. I got 6 seconds to get my attention. So to be able to see something fresh, something new, and to give it to me in short bursts, that's the world we live in. So if you're not doing stories, you're honestly missing out. Now, the strategy of doing stories, it's multiple ways you can play with that. But the ephemeral side of these platforms is absolutely the newest way we're consuming content, especially if you guys are incorporating videos.
So would you say maybe like a good, kind of goal for people, maybe at least one post a day?
Yeah, at bare minimum.
Maybe 3 to 5 stories, if you can get that on there?
If you can drop, 2 to 3 stories a day, perfect. Right now, I'm stressing to people and trying to help people understand that this current situation not only has it opened up or made us be relevant into how to maneuver in reference to technology right now. But it also have slowed everyone down where the attention is so high. I don't think people understand that the shift in reference to leadership, if you're putting yourself out there, if you're giving relevant content, if you're doing little small bursts like in the ephemeral side, you're giving, a post a day in reference to video, not copy or hyperlinks, but really giving some relevant information. If you're going to write copy, then make sure it's something relevant. But for those that's willing to take me up on this, this can absolutely skyrocket your business. So when the dust settles, that shift in reference to who once was an authority, you're not going to be able to see the difference because you've already repositioned yourself in front of your own audience. And the power with these platforms, we have the ability to to gather our own people that's listening. That's why when people are like, well, they don't want to hear what I got to say. Trust me, there's a group of people that'll actually listen to you. And if they're willing to listen to
really,
you.
if at the end of the day, right, if you get the message out, and I always tell them, there's going to be one person. If there's one person that feels like you're talking directly to them, then that's a win.
Win-win all day. It's only two reasons why people even listen to us. Like I said, it's either emotion or agreed upon value. I mean, everyone's looking for information, and it's because information is in abundance, but we're looking and we're ciphering through, is this even relevant to me? Like for us that are really paying attention, we can easily maneuver past that's not for me. That's not for me. And that's just where the world is right now. We're scrolling through. And if we're utilizing the free technology that's in front of us, and right now, because the world is slowed down, you're willing to put yourself out there, your business can be on a whole nother, like, I mean, I just by mentioning what they did with this one group, almost 200,000 people in 2 weeks. Who would have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just put yourself
What's
out
crazy about that is, we have I do a local kind of show, and we go out and interview local businesses and feature them. And, I started with that idea just to basically, hey, let's get ingrained in the community somehow. And we did an episode with a dog rescue. And, just by chance, the owner, she called us back within a couple of weeks, and she's like, oh my God, we've, a lot of people have come in, adopted dogs, we've raised money. And then she actually reached out again and said, hey, we want to feature you guys on our Facebook page. We have about 10,000 people that follow us. And now she wanted to have us offer a credit, which we're doing like a $500 credit. But she's putting my information in every single gift basket that goes out to when someone comes and adopts a dog now.
Super powerful.
We didn't go in there thinking like, hey, how can we get business from a dog rescue? But it was, hey, let me help you amplify your voice and your message. And we, it was crazy when she called me and told us that.
You tap into relevancy, you be consistent and build up omnipresence. And when I say omnipresence, all I'm saying is being in the right place, right time with the right mindset, and you focus on intimacy, the industry or your community would begin to champion for you. Like it's just a natural law of reciprocity. You know what I mean? There's certain things that exist where we've ignored, and it's like, oh, that's not no, you do good, it happens. You know what I mean? And just by you servicing your community, now your community begins to service you, and 10,000 people, even if you convert 5% of that 10,000, it's super, I don't think people are paying attention to what's happening. And, it's always been a thing. Video has always been a powerful channel. Audio has always been a powerful channel. When we're driving, we're listening to podcasts. When we're stationed, we're watching videos. It's always been a powerful channel. But right now, in this current reality with this pandemic that's happening, all the attention is right where you need it to be if you put yourself out there.
Do you think, like, let's say a newer agent, maybe less than 6 months into the business, less than maybe even a year, I think they kind of have a leg up on guys that have been in the business for a while because they're learning stuff every single day.
Hands down.
I always tell them they got to share that stuff, right? I mean, what would you say to the newbies?
Always put yourself, I mean, everything, the business is about leverage. I always encourage newer agents. I have a coaching student that was with me, and this is before everything went crazy. This was just during regular times. He put himself out there. He was a part-time gym teacher. He ended that year with over $250,000 in GCI, his very first year. So that narrative, believing your first year has to be bad, it doesn't. That's just what most people believe and don't know. And he wasn't going crazy with Facebook ads. All he was doing was he started to deploy Facebook ads, but video was a dominant channel. I have another coaching student, Amy, her very first listing. She sold in a week by putting out a video sharing her love for the industry, and she didn't hide the fact that she was new in the industry. I mean, new in the market. She let them know what it was, and the funny part about it was her thought pattern of I'm going to showcase the property. She forgot to show the property. She talked more about her love for the property and what she did,
sold it
and sold it. And in a week, it was all intimacy. Like I said, we have to understand that we are in a belly to belly based business. Our transactions are emotional, very high, whether it be selling or buying is very, very high. And if you can tap into intimacy, then you can deploy automation. But automation without intimacy, it's a lose-lose strategy. It doesn't work that way. And that's just how the internet is based and built. It's all community driven. Nothing is just a bunch of numbers and algorithms. Everything is community driven. So putting yourself out there is going to position you guys into a whole nother world of where your business can go. But you got to be consistent.
Yeah. And even to that point, I mean, we had one of our agents in our boot camp. She came in and, one thing that we always stress to them is, share your journey, tell your story. And then, I think some agents struggle too, because maybe they might be part-time, kind of like the gym teacher. And I told them, I was like, share that, don't hide behind the fact that you are full-time, because if you are working, a full-time job and real estate's part-time, I think you can share that. And show, your hustle, right? And there's a reason why you may be working two jobs.
That's the mirage people run into. The camouflage suit is making itself bigger than what you are. And no one cares about that. People want to talk to real people, humanize the process. And humanizing the process, you'd be surprised at the people that root for the underdog, or what we consider to be the underdog. It's mainly because, like, Sean is new, he's learning. He's going to it seems like he's trying to really help me. He's not trying to take advantage of me. I like this dude.
Yeah. It was crazy because she made a post. She was like deathly afraid of the camera. So we made her, worst case, let's just take a picture, post it. She talked about her family and her journey from moving from Hawaii and all that. And she literally got 5 deals off of that post. Didn't even mention real estate once. And I told her, I was like, that's the thing that you have to realize, is that people want to connect with you. You have to be relatable, market stats and all the other stuff, but people don't really care about that.
Those are the features, no one cares about the benefits and features. If I can hear the story, and that's another thing, great books that people should check out. One is building a story brand. Very excellent book to start out with. Helps position you how you need to be the guide in whatever you're talking about. It's not about you. It's about the hero, and the hero would always be the consumer. Another great book is Story Selling. When we understand just that casual, that's why people love podcasts. It's just casual conversations. People love your show because it's just there is no probing, and like, you're just having a nice conversation. That's the power with videos. And if you are able to get comfortable, because I'll be honest with you, no one's ever really comfortable in front of the camera. Like, everybody has those freak out moments because there is no energy to bounce back and forth with. It's just you and the camera. You don't know, outside of you knowing what you're talking about, there's nothing to feed off of, which is natural, but that's why it's important for you to know what you're talking about. And when you start to lean more into a casual conversation, more of a story format, you fall into what they call cognitive ease, where people are willing to listen and hear. When you get into stats and all these extra geeky stuff, now you pull on that cognitive strain, where now a person's like, I don't get it. I got to figure this out. And no. be human, humanize the process. Who are you? Like, why should, and when you humanize the process, you can't lose. You cannot lose when you humanize the process. That's why her stuff popped off so well. It was tapping into some type of emotion or some type of agreed upon value, but they could see that she was a real person. No camouflage.
Yeah, that was transparent as she could be, and being a little vulnerable and just opening up like you would to a friend at the end of the day.
You talk to you if you. I mean, we all know you talk to a person, they'll talk back to you. It's just having something relevant to say. And unfortunately, when you scream your new listing, or you scream what you just sold, or you show me a bunch of giant keys, and nobody, how is that relevant to me? But if you let somebody, if you turned your camera on while you're closing, you let them share their experience with you. Now we're going somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. You got a new listing, show me it. Like, let me see what's so dope about this listing. Like, I don't care about the price. I don't like what's so, you know what I mean? So giving perspective and being able to narrate your stories in every category. I don't care what it is. If you just sold something, you just bought something, narrate the story, humanize the process, but we need people to connect us. I can't connect with just an image or a price. I can't connect with that. But a person, yeah, I can connect with that.
You dropped some bombs today for us, man, James. I just want to say thank you again, man, for all your time, and we'll put your handles and everything in the notes so people can follow you and keep learning from what you're putting out. And James also got a 30 push-up challenge too every day. So
oh yeah, we're just connecting the community. That's it.
Good deal, man. Well, again, thanks, man. All the way from Vegas. We appreciate you. We'll keep supporting the journey, and hopefully everyone can follow James and, take a few things away from this podcast.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Later.
Later, Big Sean.